Hey guys, tonight we step back, not just in time, but into the very dust and clamor of an ancient world. A world where the sun beat down on stone and sand, and the roar of a million voices echoed through colossal arches. You stand, perhaps, in a dimly lit cell, the rough straw beneath your bare feet, a meager comfort against the chill that seeps from the very earth. A chill that whispers of dawn, and the day that stretches before you, unknown and unforgiving. It's a life that tested the very limits of human endurance, a brutal ballet of survival played out for the masses. As we begin, feel free to share where you're listening from and what time it is in your part of the world. It's always amazing to see where our stories reach. And if you enjoy these journeys into the past, consider subscribing to join our community of historical sleepy stories. Now, let's dim the lights and enjoy our journey tonight. The first sliver of light, a pale, hesitant gray, struggles to pierce the narrow, barred window high above, casting long, distorted shadows across the rough-hewn stone walls of your cell. A damp, earthy scent, mingled with the faint, metallic tang of old blood and the ever-present aroma of unwashed bodies, hangs heavy in the stagnant air, a constant companion in this subterranean world. You stir on your meager palate, the coarse wool of your tunic scratching against your skin, a familiar discomfort that has long since ceased to register as pain, merely a state of being. The muscles in your back and shoulders ache with a dull, persistent throb, a testament to yesterday's relentless drills, the endless thrusts and parries, the heavy weight of the practiced sword, each movement etched into your very bones. Outside, beyond the thick wooden door, the distant, rhythmic thud of a heavy mallet against wood begins, a monotonous, almost hypnotic sound that signals the waking of the Ludus, the gladiator school that is both your prison and your only hope. You push yourself up, the straw rustling softly beneath you, and your eyes, still heavy with the shallow sleep of the condemned, slowly adjust to the gloom. The air is cool, almost cold, carrying with it the faint, sweet scent of stale wine from the common room, a reminder of the fleeting moments of camaraderie that sometimes break through the grim reality of your existence. You can hear the shuffling of feet in the corridor, the low murmur of voices, the clinking of chains, perhaps, from a new arrival, a sound that always sends a shiver down your spine, a silent acknowledgement of the ever-present threat of replacement, of obsolescence. Your stomach, a hollow cavern, rumbles with a familiar emptiness, a constant companion since your capture, a gnawing reminder of the meager rations that sustain your powerful frame. You stretch, feeling the stiffness in your joints, the slight crackle in your knees, and you take a deep, slow breath, trying to fill your lungs with something other than the stale air of the cell. The stone floor beneath your feet is cold, unyielding, a stark contrast to the warmth of your fading dreams, dreams that sometimes carry you back to a life you barely remember, a life of open fields and the gentle laughter of children, a life that feels as distant and unreachable as the stars. But those thoughts are dangerous, a luxury you cannot afford in this place. Here, survival is the only currency, and every breath is a step closer to the arena, to the roar of the crowd, to the ultimate test. You stand, a silent sentinel in the pre-dawn dark, waiting for the heavy bolt to slide back, for the gruff command that will pull you from the fleeting peace of sleep into the harsh reality of another day. The sounds outside grow louder, more insistent, a symphony of awakening, and you know, with a certainty that settles deep in your gut, that the day has truly begun. The air itself seems to thicken with anticipation, a subtle hum that vibrates through the very stones of the building, a silent promise of the trials to come. You close your eyes for a brief moment, picturing the sun not as it struggles through the window, but as it would feel on your skin in the open. A warmth that seems almost mythical now. The heavy wooden door groans open, a sound that echoes through the narrow corridor, and a gruff voice barks your name, or perhaps the name assigned to you, a new identity forged in the crucible of this brutal existence. You step out, joining the silent procession of figures, each one a testament to the harsh discipline of the Ludus, their faces etched with a mixture of weariness and grim determination. The air in the corridor is slightly less oppressive than in your cell, but still thick with the scent of sweat and unwashed bodies, a collective aroma of human struggle. You move with the others, a silent river of men flowing towards the central courtyard, where the first rays of the true dawn are beginning to paint the sky with hues of rose and gold, a stark and beautiful contrast to the grim reality below. The courtyard itself is a vast, open space, paved with rough stones that are slick with the morning dew, and already the trainers, burly men with scarred faces and eyes that miss nothing, are barking orders, their voices cutting through the morning stillness like sharp blades. You fall into line, your body moving with an automatic precision, born of endless repetition, each movement a practiced ritual. The first task of the day is often a simple one, a test of endurance, a long, grueling run around a perimeter of the courtyard, your bare feet pounding against the cold stone, the rhythmic slap of flesh on rock, a monotonous drumbeat in your ears. Your lungs burn, a familiar fire that spreads through your chest, and the sweat begins to prickle on your skin, a cold sheen in the morning air. You push through the discomfort, your gaze fixed on the back of the man in front of you, his broad shoulders rising and falling with each labored breath. The sun, now fully risen, begins to warm the stones, but the chill of the morning still clings to the shadows, a persistent reminder of the early hour. The sounds of the city, still distant and muffled, begin to filter over the high walls of the Ludus, the faint rumble of carts, the distant cries of street vendors, the murmur of a waking metropolis. A world that exists just beyond your reach, a world you once inhabited. But here, in this enclosed space, your world is defined by the clang of steel, the bark of commands, and the relentless pursuit of physical perfection. You feel the strain in your calves, the ache in your thighs, but you do not falter, for to falter is to invite the lash, the sharp sting of the whip that reminds you of your place, of the consequences of weakness. The trainers watch, their eyes like hawks, missing no detail, no sign of hesitation or fatigue. They are the masters of your fate, the sculptors of your body, honing you into a weapon, a spectacle for the masses. The air fills with the grunts of exertion, the heavy breathing of dozens of men, a symphony of effort that rises with the sun. You push harder, drawing on a reserve of strength you didn't know you possessed, a primal urge to survive, to endure, to prove yourself worthy of another day. The run continues, a relentless test of will, and with each stride, you feel the last vestiges of sleep being driven from your mind, replaced by the sharp, focused awareness of the present moment, the only moment that truly matters. After the grueling run, your muscles screaming in protest, the next phase of the morning ritual begins, a transition from raw endurance to the meticulous art of combat. You move towards the training area, a vast expanse of packed earth, where wooden posts, some scarred and splintered from countless blows, stand like silent sentinels. The air here is thick with the scent of dust and sweat, a pungent mixture that clings to your skin and fills your nostrils. You are handed a rudis, a heavy wooden sword, its weight familiar in your hand, a comforting solidity that belies its true purpose. The trainers, their voices now sharper, more demanding, demonstrate the intricate footwork, the precise angles of attack and defense, the subtle shifts of weight that can mean the difference between life and death. You mimic their movements, your body flowing through the practiced forms, each thrust and parry a dance of calculated aggression. The rudis swings through the air with a satisfying whoosh, the impact against the wooden post sending a dull thud through your arm, a vibration that travels up to your shoulder. Your focus narrows, the world outside the training ground fading into a blur, leaving only the rhythm of your breath, the clang of wood on wood, and the sharp commands of the instructor. You practice with a partner, the wooden blades clashing with a dull, resonant sound. A mock battle that is nonetheless intense, each man pushing the other to their limits. You feel the sweat trickle down your temples, stinging your eyes, but you do not wipe it away, for to break concentration is to invite a swift, sharp correction from the trainer. The sun climbs higher, its rays now beating down with a relentless intensity, warming the earth and making the air shimmer above the training ground. The dust rises with every movement, coating your skin and hair, a fine, pretty film that becomes a second skin. You can hear the grunts of exertion from your fellow gladiators, the sharp intake of breath, the occasional cry of pain as a blow lands a little too hard. But there is no malice in these exchanges, only the shared understanding of a common purpose, a collective striving for mastery. You learn to anticipate, to react instinctively, to read the subtle shifts in your opponent's stance, to exploit their weaknesses, to protect your own. The movements become fluid, a seamless extension of your will, your body a finely tuned instrument of destruction. You are taught not just to fight, but to survive, to prolong the spectacle, to entertain the crowd, for your life, ultimately, depends on their fickle approval. The hours stretch on, each one filled with the relentless repetition of drills, the endless pursuit of perfection, the constant honing of your skills. Your muscles burn with a deep, aching fire, but you push through it, drawing on a wellspring of resilience that you never knew you possessed. This is your life now, a cycle of pain and discipline, a constant preparation for a moment that may or may not come, a moment that will determine your fate. The scent of wood and sweat and dust fills your senses, a primal perfume that defines your existence within these walls. As the sun reaches its zenith, casting harsh, unforgiving shadows across the training ground, a welcome, though brief, respite arrives. The sharp commands of the trainers soften, replaced by a gruff announcement that signals the end of the morning's rigorous drills. Your body, a symphony of aches and strains, welcomes the pause, though your mind remains alert, still buzzing with the adrenaline of the mock combat. You join the slow, shuffling procession towards the communal dining hall, a large, cavernous space where the air is thick with the aroma of coarse grains and simmering broth. The scent, though simple, is a powerful magnet, drawing you forward, your stomach a hollow drumbeat against your ribs. You find your place on a long, rough-hewn bench, the wood cool beneath your weary limbs, and a bowl of pulse, a thick, hearty porridge made from barley, is placed before you. It is a simple meal, devoid of spices or rich flavors, but it is sustenance, a fuel for the demanding life you lead. You eat slowly, savoring each mouthful, feeling the warmth spread through your empty stomach, a small comfort in a world of constant hardship. The conversation around you is muted, a low hum of voices, mostly about the day's training, the strengths and weaknesses observed, the subtle nuances of a particular move. There is a quiet camaraderie here, a shared understanding born of common suffering and a collective fate. You observe the other gladiators, their faces, like yours, etched with the marks of their profession, the scars, the calloused hands, the eyes that hold a depth of experience beyond their years. Some are veterans, their bodies a testament to countless battles, their movements imbued with a quiet confidence. Others are new, their faces still holding a trace of the outside world, a flicker of fear in their eyes that you remember all too well. The light filtering through the high windows of the dining hall is a pale, diffused glow, illuminating the dust motes dancing in the air, a silent, ethereal ballet. The sounds are of spoons scraping against bowls, the occasional cough, a soft murmur of voices, a brief lull in the relentless rhythm of the Ludus. You finish your meal, feeling a renewed sense of strength, a subtle shift in your energy levels. The food, though plain, has done its work, replenishing the reserves depleted by the morning's exertions. You linger for a moment, enjoying the quiet, the brief escape from the demands of training, before the trainers begin to stir, their eyes scanning the room, signaling the end of the break. The thought of the afternoon's drills, perhaps even more intense than the mornings, settles in your mind, a heavy weight, but you push it aside. For now, there is only the present moment, the lingering taste of barley on your tongue, the warmth in your belly, and the quiet hum of life within these ancient walls. The afternoon brings a different kind of training, one that focuses less on brute strength and more on the intricate dance of specific gladiator types. You are led to a separate section of the training ground, where various weapons and armor are laid out, gleaming dully in the afternoon sun. The air here is charged with a different kind of energy, a focused intensity that speaks of specialization. You are assigned to a group, perhaps a Murmillo, a Threx, or a Risharius, and the specific equipment for your chosen class is presented to you. You might don the heavy, fish-crested helmet of the Murmillo, its weight pressing down on your head, restricting your vision to a narrow slit, forcing you to rely on your other senses. Or perhaps the small, round shield and curved sword of the Threx, feeling the balance of the blade in your hand, the way it seems to become an extension of your arm. If you are a Risharius, the net feels surprisingly light, almost ethereal in your grasp, the trident a long, unwieldy extension, demanding a different kind of grace and precision. The trainers for each class are masters of their specific art, their movements fluid and deadly, their instructions precise and unforgiving. They demonstrate the unique footwork, the specific attacks and defenses, the subtle feints and parries that define each gladiator type. You practice with a partner, the wooden weapons clashing with a sharper, more resonant sound than in the morning, the movements more intricate, more demanding. You learn to anticipate the sweep of a net, the thrust of a trident, the heavy chop of a gladius. The sun, now beginning its slow descent, casts long, distorted shadows across the training ground, making the figures of your fellow gladiators seem larger, more imposing. The dust, stirred by countless movements, hangs in the air like a golden haze, catching the light and creating an almost ethereal glow. Your muscles, already weary from the morning, protest with renewed vigor, but you push through the pain, your mind focused on mastering the intricate techniques. Each successful block, each perfectly executed thrust, brings a small surge of satisfaction, a quiet affirmation of your progress. You are not just fighting. You are learning a deadly art, a complex language of combat that could one day save your life. The sounds are a symphony of effort, the rhythmic thud of feet, the sharp clang of wooden weapons, the grunts of exertion, the terse commands of the trainers. The air is thick with the scent of sweat and wood, a primal aroma that speaks of dedication and struggle. You feel the weight of the helmet, the unfamiliar balance of the shield, the subtle shift of your body as you adapt to the demands of your chosen role. This is the crucible in which you are forged, a relentless process of transformation, turning a man into a gladiator, a living weapon designed for the spectacle of the arena. The hours pass, marked only by the changing light and the increasing fatigue in your limbs, but your resolve remains unbroken, your focus unwavering. As the sun dips lower, painting the western sky with fiery hues of orange and purple, the intensity of the training shifts once more, moving from the physical to the mental, from the arena to the mind. You are led to a quieter section of the Ludus, perhaps a small enclosed courtyard or a shaded portico, where the air is cooler, carrying the faint scent of evening dampness. Here, the focus is on discipline, on the unwavering control of your emotions, on the psychological fortitude required to face death with a calm demeanor. The trainers, their voices now lower, more measured, speak of the crowd, of their fickle nature, of the importance of spectacle, even in defeat. You are taught to maintain a stoic expression, to hide your fear, to project an image of strength and defiance, even when your heart pounds like a drum against your ribs. You practice falling, not just physically, but gracefully, theatrically, in a way that will please the crowd, even in your final moments. You learn to accept the possibility of death, to embrace it as an inevitable part of your existence, to find a strange, unsettling peace in its shadow. The sounds of the Ludus begin to soften as evening approaches. The distant clang of metal replaced by the chirping of crickets, the rustling of leaves in the gentle breeze. The light fades, casting long, ethereal shadows that dance across the ancient stones, making the figures around you seem almost spectral. You sit, perhaps, on a cold stone bench, listening to the words of the trainer, absorbing their wisdom, their hard-won experience. They speak of honor, of courage, of the strange bond that forms between gladiators, a brotherhood forged in the fires of shared hardship. You are reminded that even in death, there is a chance for glory, a chance to leave a lasting impression on the minds of the spectators, to become a legend, however brief. The air grows cooler, a gentle caress against your sweat-dampened skin, and the stars begin to prickle into existence in the darkening sky, tiny pinpricks of light in the vast expanse above. You feel a strange sense of detachment, a quiet resignation to your fate, whatever it may be. The fear is still there, a cold knot in your stomach, but it is tempered by a growing sense of acceptance, a quiet understanding of the path you have chosen, or rather, the path that has been chosen for you. This mental training is perhaps the most crucial, for it is not just your body that must be strong, but your spirit, your will to endure. You close your eyes for a moment, listening to the soft murmur of voices, the gentle rustle of the wind, and you feel the weight of the day's exertion settling deep within your bones. The day is drawing to a close, and with it, the relentless demands of training, replaced by the quiet contemplation of what lies ahead. As twilight deepens, painting the sky in shades of deep indigo and violet, the final, most anticipated part of the day arrives, the evening meal. You join the procession once more, your steps heavy with fatigue, but your senses sharpened by the promise of food. The communal dining hall, once a place of muted conversation, now buzzes with a slightly more relaxed atmosphere, a collective sigh of relief after the day's arduous training. The air is thick with the comforting aroma of stew, a richer, more substantial offering than the morning's porridge, perhaps with a few pieces of meat or vegetables, a rare treat. You find your usual spot, the rough wood of the bench a familiar comfort, and a bowl is placed before you, steaming gently in the dim light. You eat slowly, deliberately, savoring each mouthful, feeling the warmth spread through your body, a deep, satisfying sensation that eases the aches in your muscles. The conversation around you is a low murmur, a tapestry of shared experiences, of minor triumphs and frustrations from the day's drills. There is a sense of camaraderie, a quiet understanding that binds you to these men, your fellow gladiators, your brothers in arms. You are all bound by the same fate, the same relentless pursuit of survival. And in this shared vulnerability, a strange form of kinship blossoms. The light in the hall is provided by flickering oil lamps, casting dancing shadows on the stone walls, making the faces of the men around you seem both familiar and strangely distant. The sounds are of spoons scraping against bowls, the occasional clink of a ceramic cup, the low rumble of voices, a comforting backdrop to the quiet act of eating. You might hear a story from an older gladiator, a tale of a past fight, of a narrow escape, of the roar of the crowd, a glimpse into the world that awaits you. These stories are both terrifying and strangely alluring, painting a vivid picture of the arena, a place of both horror and potential glory. You finish your meal, feeling a profound sense of repletion, a rare moment of physical contentment. The food has not only nourished your body, but also provided a brief respite for your mind, a moment of peace before the inevitable return to the harsh realities of your existence. As the bowls are collected, a sense of quiet anticipation settles over the hall. The day's work is done, and the promise of rest, however brief, hangs in the air. You rise from the bench, your body still aching, but your spirit somewhat renewed, ready to face the final hours of the day. The air outside is cool and crisp, carrying the faint scent of wood smoke from the city, a reminder of the world beyond the Ludus walls. After the evening meal, a quiet descends upon the Ludus, a stillness that is both a blessing and a subtle torment. You are led back to your cell, the narrow corridor now darker, the shadows deeper, the silence more profound. The heavy wooden door closes behind you with a soft thud, sealing you once more within your solitary confines. The air in the cell is cool, almost cold, carrying the faint, lingering scent of damp stone and the metallic tang of your own sweat. You lie down on your straw pallet, the rough material rustling softly beneath you, and your body, exhausted from the day's relentless training, sinks into the meager comfort. Your muscles throb with a deep, persistent ache, a testament to the hours of exertion, the endless repetitions, the constant pushing of your physical limits. You close your eyes, but sleep does not come easily. Your mind, though weary, continues to replay the day's events. The sharp clang of wooden swords, the barked commands of the trainers, the faces of your fellow gladiators, etched with determination and fatigue. You might hear the distant, muffled sounds of the Ludus settling down for the night, a guard's heavy footsteps, the soft creak of a door, the distant whinny of a horse from the stables. These sounds, though faint, are a constant reminder of your confinement, of the world that exists just beyond your reach. The darkness in the cell is absolute, a thick, velvety blackness that presses in on you, amplifying every small sound, every subtle shift in the air. You can feel the slow, steady beat of your own heart, quiet drum in the stillness, a testament to your continued existence. Thoughts drift through your mind, unbidden and unwelcome. Memories of your past life, fragments of faces, echoes of laughter, the warmth of a home that now seems impossibly distant. You push them away, for such thoughts are a weakness, a distraction from the grim reality of your present. Here, in the darkness, you are forced to confront your fears. The cold dread of the arena, the terrifying prospect of facing a trained killer, of the roar of the crowd, of the final, inevitable moment. But you also find a strange, quiet resolve, a determination to endure, to fight, to survive another day. The air grows colder as the night deepens, and you pull the coarse wool of your tunic tighter around you, seeking what little warmth it can offer. The silence stretches, broken only by the sound of your own breathing, slow and steady, a rhythm that guides you towards the edge of sleep. You drift, hovering between wakefulness and slumber, your body heavy, your mind slowly quieting, preparing for the brief respite that sleep offers before the cycle begins anew. The hours of darkness stretch on, a timeless void broken only by the slow, deliberate passage of time, marked by the subtle shifts in the air and the distant, muffled sounds of the sleeping Ludus. You lie on your pallet, suspended in that liminal space between deep slumber and restless awareness, your body still aching, but your mind beginning to drift into the realm of dreams. Sometimes the dreams are fragments of your past, fleeting glimpses of a life that feels impossibly distant now. The warmth of a hearth, the scent of familiar food, the gentle touch of a loved one. These dreams are both a comfort and a torment, a reminder of what you have lost, of the world that exists beyond these stone walls. Other times, the dreams are darker, more visceral, replaying the day's training, the clang of wooden swords, the sharp commands, the faces of your opponents. You might find yourself in the arena, the roar of the crowd a deafening wave, the sun blinding, the sand hot beneath your feet, the glint of steel a terrifying promise. You fight, you struggle, you fall, and then just as the final blow is about to land, you jolt awake, your heart pounding, your breath ragged in the darkness. The air in the cell is cold, still, and the silence presses in on you, a heavy blanket. You lie there, listening to the frantic beat of your own heart slowly subside, feeling the sweat prickle on your skin, a cold sheen in the darkness. You remind yourself that it was only a dream, a phantom of your waking fears. But the lingering sensation of dread, the taste of dust and fear, remains. You shift on your pallet, trying to find a more comfortable position, trying to coax sleep back to you. The rough straw rustles softly, a small sound in the vast silence. You focus on your breathing, slow and steady, trying to calm the racing thoughts, to quiet the anxieties that gnaw at the edges of your consciousness. The darkness is absolute, a comforting shroud for some, a suffocating weight for others. For you, it is simply a state of being, a temporary reprieve from the harsh light of day, a time for your body to mend, for your mind to rest, however fitfully. You can hear the soft, rhythmic breathing of the other gladiators in their cells, a collective sigh of slumber that echoes through the stone walls, a shared vulnerability in the face of an uncertain future. The hours before dawn are the coldest, the darkest, the most profound. It is in these moments that the true weight of your existence settles upon you, the grim reality of your fate, the constant shadow of the arena. But even in this darkness, there is a flicker of resilience, a quiet determination to face whatever the new day may bring, to endure, to survive. As the deepest hours of night begin to recede, a subtle shift occurs in the atmosphere of the Ludus, a barely perceptible change that signals the approach of dawn. The air in your cell, though still cold, seems to lose some of its oppressive stillness, a faint, almost imperceptible stirring that whispers of the world outside. You might hear the distant, muffled crow of a rooster from a nearby farm, a sound that carries a strange echo of a life far removed from these stone walls. Or perhaps the faint, rhythmic clang of a blacksmith's hammer from the city, already at work, a testament to the ceaseless industry of Rome. These sounds, though faint, are like tiny pinpricks of light in the vast darkness, hinting at the awakening world. Your body, though still heavy with fatigue, begins to stir, a subconscious preparation for the demands of the coming day. The aches in your muscles are still present, a dull, persistent throb, but they are now a familiar companion, a part of your daily existence. You might shift on your pallet, the straw rustling softly, and your eyes, though still closed, begin to register the faintest hint of gray light filtering through the high, narrow window. It is not yet dawn, not truly, but the absolute blackness has begun to soften, to yield to the encroaching light. The silence, once so profound, is now punctuated by the subtle sounds of the Ludus beginning to stir. A distant cough, the soft shuffle of feet in the corridor, the low murmur of a guard's voice. These are the harbingers of the new day, the quiet signals that the brief respite of night is drawing to a close. You take a deep, slow breath, feeling the cool air fill your lungs, and you prepare yourself mentally for the cycle to begin anew. The thought of the arena, of the potential for combat, is always present, a cold knot in your stomach, but it is now intertwined with a sense of grim determination, a quiet resolve to face whatever comes. You have survived another night, another cycle of darkness and dreams, and with the first hint of dawn, a new day of training, of discipline, of preparation begins. The air itself seems to thicken with anticipation, a subtle hum that vibrates through the very stones of the building, a silent promise of the trials to come. You lie there, suspended in the quiet moments before the official awakening, listening to the world slowly come to life around you, feeling the subtle shift in the energy of the Ludus. This is the calm before the storm, the quiet breath before the plunge into the relentless rhythm of a gladiator's day. The heavy bolt slides back with a resonant thud, a sound that cuts through the lingering quiet of the pre-dawn, and the gruff voice of a guard barks your name, or perhaps the number assigned to you, pulling you fully from the last vestiges of sleep. You rise from your pallet, your body stiff and protesting, but your movements are automatic, a practiced response to the daily summons. The air in the corridor is still cool, carrying the familiar scent of damp stone and unwashed bodies, but now mingled with the faint, sweet aroma of freshly baked bread from the Ludus kitchens. a promise of the meager breakfast to come. You join the silent procession of figures, each man a shadow in the dim light, moving with a shared sense of purpose towards the central courtyard. The sky above is now a pale, ethereal gray, the first blush of dawn beginning to paint the eastern horizon with soft hues of rose and gold, a beautiful, fleeting spectacle that contrasts sharply with the grim reality of your existence. The courtyard itself is still slick with dew, the rough stones cold beneath your bare feet, and already the trainers are present, their forms silhouetted against the brightening sky, their voices sharp and demanding, cutting through the morning stillness. You fall into line, your body moving with an automatic precision, born of endless repetition, each movement a practiced ritual. The first task of the day is often a simple one, a test of endurance, a long, grueling run around the perimeter of the courtyard, your bare feet pounding against the cold stone, the rhythmic slap of flesh on rock, a monotonous drumbeat in your ears. Your lungs burn, a familiar fire that spreads through your chest, and the sweat begins to prickle on your skin, a cold sheen in the morning air. You push through the discomfort, your gaze fixed on the back of the man in front of you, his broad shoulders rising and falling with each labored breath. The sun, now fully risen, begins to warm the stones, but the chill of the morning still clings to the shadows, a persistent reminder of the early hour. The sounds of the city, still distant and muffled, begin to filter over the high walls of the Ludus. The faint rumble of carts, the distant cries of street vendors, the murmur of a waking metropolis, a world that exists just beyond your reach, a world you once inhabited. But here, in this enclosed space, your world is defined by the clang of steel, the bark of commands, and the relentless pursuit of physical perfection. You feel the strain in your calves, the ache in your thighs, but you do not falter. For to falter is to invite the lash, the sharp sting of the whip that reminds you of your place, of the consequences of weakness. The trainers watch, their eyes like hawks, missing no detail, no sign of hesitation or fatigue. They are the masters of your fate, the sculptors of your body, honing you into a weapon, a spectacle for the masses. The air fills with the grunts of exertion, the heavy breathing of dozens of men, a symphony of effort that rises with the sun. You push harder, drawing on a reserve of strength you didn't know you possessed, a primal urge to survive, to endure, to prove yourself worthy of another day. The run continues, a relentless test of will, and with each stride, you feel the last vestiges of sleep being driven from your mind, replaced by the sharp, focused awareness of the present moment, the only moment that truly matters. The morning's relentless physical conditioning continues, pushing your body to its absolute limits, stripping away any lingering softness, forging you into a hardened instrument. After the grueling runs, you move to the heavy bag drills, where thick, leather-bound sacks filled with sand or grain hang from sturdy wooden beams. The air here is thick with dust and the pungent scent of old leather, mingled with the ever-present aroma of sweat. You grasp the heavy wooden practice sword, its weight familiar in your hand, and you unleash a torrent of blows against the unyielding surface of the bag. Each strike sends a dull thud through your arms, a vibration that travels up to your shoulders, rattling your teeth. You focus on power, on precision, on the devastating impact of each thrust and swing. The bag sways and groans under the assault, a silent, uncomplaining opponent that demands every ounce of your strength. Your breath comes in ragged gasps, your lungs burning with the effort, and the sweat pours down your face, stinging your eyes, blurring your vision. You can feel the muscles in your forearms screaming in protest, the tendons in your wrists aching, but you do not stop. The trainers walk among you, their eyes like flint, their voices sharp and unforgiving, correcting your stance, demanding more power, more speed, more ferocity. They push you beyond what you thought were your limits, forcing you to tap into a primal reserve of strength you never knew you possessed. The sounds are a symphony of exertion. The heavy thud of wood on leather, the grunts of effort, the sharp intake of breath, the rhythmic pounding of feet on the packed earth. The sun climbs higher, its rays beating down with a relentless intensity, making the air shimmer above the training ground, creating a hazy, almost dreamlike quality to the scene. The dust rises with every movement, coating your skin and hair, a fine, gritty film that becomes a second skin. You are not just training your body. You are training your mind, teaching it to endure pain, to push through exhaustion, to find strength in the face of overwhelming fatigue. This is the crucible in which you are forged, a relentless process of transformation, turning a man into a gladiator, a living weapon designed for the spectacle of the arena. The hours stretch on, each one filled with the relentless repetition of drills, the endless pursuit of perfection, the constant honing of your skills. Your muscles burn with a deep, aching fire, but you push through it, drawing on a wellspring of resilience that you never knew you possessed. This is your life now, a cycle of pain and discipline, a constant preparation for a moment that may or may not come, a moment that will determine your fate. The scent of wood and sweat and dust fills your senses, a primal perfume that defines your existence within these walls. Following the brutal heavy bag drills, the focus shifts to agility and evasion, crucial skills for survival in the unpredictable chaos of the arena. You move to an area where various obstacles are set up. Low walls to vault, narrow gaps to squeeze through, and swinging pendulums designed to simulate an opponent's attack. The air here is still thick with dust, but now carries a lighter, more dynamic energy, a sense of constant motion. You are instructed to navigate the course, moving with speed and grace, avoiding the swinging weights, leaping over the barriers, twisting and turning through the narrow passages. Your body, though weary, responds with surprising agility, each movement a testament to the hours of training that have honed your reflexes. You learn to anticipate the swing of the pendulum, to judge the distance for a leap, to contort your body to fit through the tightest spaces. The trainers watch, their eyes sharp, their voices quick to correct any hesitation or misstep. They emphasize fluidity, the ability to move seamlessly from defense to offense, to exploit any opening, to escape any trap. The sun, now high in the sky, beats down with an unrelenting intensity, making the air shimmer above the training ground. The sweat pours down your face, stinging your eyes, but you do not falter, your focus unwavering. You can hear the grunts of exertion from your fellow gladiators, the sharp intake of breath, the rhythmic thud of bare feet on the packed earth. There is a quiet competition here, a silent striving to outperform, to prove your worth, to demonstrate your mastery of these vital skills. The sounds are a symphony of movement, the whoosh of swinging weights, the slap of bare feet, the quick, sharp commands of the trainers. The air is thick with the scent of dust and sweat, a primal aroma that speaks of dedication and struggle. You feel the strain in your calves, the burn in your thighs, but you push through it, drawing on a wellspring of resilience that you never knew you possessed. This is the crucible in which you are forged, a relentless process of transformation, turning a man into a gladiator, a living weapon designed for the spectacle of the arena. The hours stretch on, each one filled with the relentless repetition of drills, the endless pursuit of perfection, the constant honing of your skills. Your muscles burn with a deep, aching fire, but you push through it, drawing on a wellspring of resilience that you never knew you possessed. This is your life now, a cycle of pain and discipline, a constant preparation for a moment that may or may not come, a moment that will determine your fate. The scent of wood and sweat and dust fills your senses, a primal perfume that defines your existence within these walls. As the morning's intense physical training draws to a close, a brief, almost sacred moment of respite is granted before the afternoon's specialized drills begin. You are led to the communal bathing area, a simple, functional space with cold water troughs and rough scrubbing brushes. The air here is damp and cool, carrying the faint, clean scent of fresh water, a welcome contrast to the dust and sweat of the training ground. You strip off your coarse tunic, feeling the cool air on your skin, and step into the shallow trough, the cold water a shock to your heated muscles. You splash the water over your body, scrubbing away the layers of dust and sweat, feeling the grime wash away, a symbolic cleansing after the morning's exertions. The water, though cold, is invigorating, a brief moment of sensory pleasure in a life defined by hardship. You can hear the quiet murmurs of your fellow gladiators, the splashing of water, the soft sounds of scrubbing, a collective sigh of relief. There is no conversation here, only the shared experience of cleansing, a quiet moment of personal reflection amidst the communal routine. The light filtering through the high windows of the bathing area is a pale, diffused glow, illuminating the steam rising from the water, creating an almost ethereal atmosphere. You emerge from the trough, feeling refreshed, your skin tingling from the cold water, and you dry yourself with a rough linen cloth, the coarse fabric a familiar sensation against your skin. You don your clean, though still coarse, tunic, feeling a renewed sense of readiness. This brief interlude, this moment of physical cleansing, is also a mental one, a chance to shed the fatigue and grime of the morning, to prepare yourself for the challenges that lie ahead. The scent of clean water lingers on your skin, a subtle reminder of this fleeting moment of peace. You join the others, a silent procession moving towards the dining hall, where the promise of the midday meal awaits. Your stomach, a hollow cavern, rumbles with a familiar emptiness, a constant companion since your capture, a knowing reminder of the meager rations that sustain your powerful frame. The thought of the afternoon's drills, perhaps even more intense than the morning's, settles in your mind, a heavy weight, but you push it aside. For now, there is only the present moment, the lingering taste of clean water on your tongue, the warmth in your belly, and the quiet hum of life within these ancient walls. The final hours of the day, after the evening meal and before the deep quiet of night, are often spent in a communal area, a large, dimly lit room where gladiators gather, some mending their gear, others simply resting, their bodies heavy with fatigue. The air is thick with the scent of stale wine, lamp oil, and the lingering aroma of the evening meal, a comforting, if somewhat oppressive, mixture. You find a spot on a rough wooden bench, the wood cool beneath your weary limbs, and you simply sit, observing the quiet tableau around you. Some gladiators are sharpening their practice weapons, a rhythmic rasp of stone on metal, a soft, hypnotic sound. Others are patching tears in their tunics, their fingers nimble despite their calloused hands. A few might be playing a quiet game of dice, their faces etched with concentration, the soft click of the bone pieces the only sound. There is a sense of quiet camaraderie here, a shared understanding that transcends words. You are all bound by the same fate, the same relentless pursuit of survival. And in this shared vulnerability, a strange form of kinship blossoms. The light in the room is provided by flickering oil lamps, casting dancing shadows on the stone walls, making the faces of the men around you seem both familiar and strangely distant. The sounds are muted, a low hum of activity, a tapestry of shared experiences, of minor triumphs and frustrations from the day's drills. You might hear a story from an older gladiator, a tale of a past fight, of a narrow escape, of the roar of the crowd, a glimpse into the world that awaits you. These stories are both terrifying and strangely alluring, painting a vivid picture of the arena, a place of both horror and potential glory. You feel the weight of the day's exertion settling deep within your bones, a profound weariness that seeps into every fiber of your being. Your mind, though tired, continues to replay the day's events, the sharp clang of wooden swords, the barked commands of the trainers, the faces of your fellow gladiators, etched with determination and fatigue. The air grows cooler as the night deepens, and you pull the coarse wool of your tunic tighter around you, seeking what little warmth it can offer. The silence stretches, broken only by the soft murmur of voices, the gentle rustle of movement, and the slow, steady beat of your own heart, a quiet drum in the stillness, a testament to your continued existence. You drift, hovering between wakefulness and slumber, your body heavy, your mind slowly quieting, preparing for the brief respite that sleep offers before the cycle begins anew. The day is drawing to a close, and with it, the relentless demands of training replaced by the quiet contemplation of what lies ahead. And so, as the last embers of the day fade to the deep velvet embrace of night, we gently draw back from the harsh realities of that ancient world. The clang of steel, the roar of the crowd, the dust and the sweat, they all begin to soften now, dissolving into the quiet stillness that surrounds you. Feel the gentle weight of your own breath, slow and steady, a comforting rhythm in the quiet space you inhabit. The images of the gladiator, of the relentless training, of the stark stone walls, they are simply echoes now, whispers on the edge of your awareness, fading like distant dreams. There is no need to hold on to them, no need for the struggle or the strain. Let them drift away, like leaves carried on a gentle breeze, leaving behind only a sense of quiet peace. The world of the arena, with its brutal demands and fleeting glories, recedes into the vast tapestry of history, a story told, a journey completed. And as the last of those ancient sounds melt into silence, you are left with the soft, comforting darkness, a gentle blanket of calm. Rest now, deeply and peacefully, as the quiet of the night enfolds you completely.